Listen, I want to bring you some information today that if you are a property owner in Iron County is really important for you to understand. I want to talk to you about property taxes and how your property taxes are assessed, what you're being taxed for, and just give you the whole rundown. So I want you to get your 2024 Notice of Property Valuation and Tax Changes, okay? This is what I'm going to be going over with you today. Telling you all of the things that you need to know about this notice that is coming to you as a property owner from Iron County. Make sure that you're looking at the account number and the parcel number. Make sure that this is actually your property. Match that up with the property address and the ownership, okay? So all of those things should match. I have received property valuation and tax change notices before that had an incorrect address on it. So just check to make sure that, the basics are accurate there. The next place that I want you to check is the box that says property type. Right here, it says property type. It's going to say non-primary or it's going to say primary. If it says non-primary, you're paying 100% of the value of your taxes. If it says primary, you get a 45% discount on your property taxes. That is a big deal. Now, how does the county determine whether it's primary or non-primary? Well, first of all, you need to let them know. They don't always just know if it is your primary residence or someone's primary residence. If it is your primary residence, you're going to get that 45% discount. You have to let the county know that. If it is a full-time rental, you are going to get the 45% discount. If it is a second home, if it is a commercial property, if it is a short-term rental, you are going to have the non-primary property type and you will be assessed at the full 100% value of your property taxes. I want everybody to make sure when you get your property tax notice, your notice of property valuation and tax changes, check that primary versus non-primary box. It's super important because it can really save you thousands depending on the value of your property. Okay. The next place I want you to go is to check the value of your property as of January 1st, 2024. Every year I have a lot of folks call me and they want comps, which I'm happy to do. If you need comps, let me know. Understand that the value that you're seeing on this notice is what the county thinks that your value was as of January 1st of that particular year. In this case, it's 2024. So if the market has shifted, and it hasn't really shifted a lot this year, but if the market has shifted, you want to make sure that the comps you're receiving go back to the beginning of the year, not what is currently the value, but what the value was on January 1st of 2024. On the box, it says value of your property as of January 1, 2024. In this case, if it is a non-primary, you're gonna see the 2023 market value, the 2023 taxable value, then the 2024 market value and the 2024 taxable value. If it is a non-primary, that value is going to be essentially the same. If it is a primary property, you're going to see that discount show up there. So that's the other place that you really want to zero in on. Check those boxes to make sure that if it is a primary improved property, that you are getting that discount on the taxable value. So the county's gonna say, here's what the market value is, and stick with me because when they say market value, it's not the same as you and I think of market value, and I'm going to explain that to you. So right here it says the market value, and then it says your taxable value. Primary property is going to get that discount on the taxable value box. And they're going to show you the 2023 value, and then they're going to show you the 2024 value to see if there's been a big change so that you kind of understand the trajectory of where the property taxes are going. Okay, so let's talk about that market value box just really quickly. The market value on your tax notice is not a market-based value. They don't pull comps, okay? When you call me and you say, hey, Jenny, I'm thinking about listing my house, I go into the MLS and I pull comps and I say, here's the sales, here's the active listings. That is a market value based on active comps, right? When the county says market value. It's a completely different process that they use, and it is a legal process. They're legally mandated to use this process to get to your assessed value, your market value. Utah is what's called a non-disclosure state, which means that the state cannot use the purchase price of your home or property in order to assess the value for tax purposes. Being a non-disclosure state means that purchase prices are not public record. In other surrounding states, you can go to the recorder's site and you can see what your neighbor paid for their house. That is not publicly disclosed in Utah. The process that the assessor will go through, it's a formula. I won't get into the details, but it has to do with kind of what everything else is valued at in your area. So when the assessor says market value, understand that that is a lot different than when you call me and say, hey, what's the value of my property? Completely different processes. The other thing to kind of know, and this is why I want you to look at the 2023 value versus the 2024 value, because I've had clients who were overvalued based on the formula that the assessor uses, and we have been able to provide comps from January 1st of whatever given year you're trying to protest, and the assessor has agreed with the property owner and said, yep, I can see that we have overvalued your property. So it's really important when you look at that market value, does it actually match the comp value, the market value that you and I would talk about if we're talking about putting your home on the market? If it's overvalued on your tax notice, let me know and I will get some comps for you. Now we've made it through the top half of your notice of property valuation and tax changes. Hopefully you understand what you're being taxed, how the value got there in the first place, and of course the most important thing, whether it's primary or non-primary. Let's talk about taxing entities. Who is actually able to levy taxes on your property? Well, there's a handful of them. Let's dive into what these taxing entities are, because depending on where your property is located, you could be affected by some taxing entities where another property may not have the same levy from these taxing entities. So for example, I'm talking about a property that is in Cedar City. So for this property in Cedar City, the taxing entities are the county basic school levy. So the school district has the ability to levy a tax on your property. Cedar City also is a taxing entity, and they are assessing a levy on your property. State basic school levy. So the county has a school levy. The state also has a school levy. The county general fund. We are funding Iron County, and that money goes right into their general fund, which can be used for anything the county commissioners wish to put in the budget. The Water Conservancy District is a taxing entity. They can levy taxes, so they're on this list as well. Iron County A&C, County Public Health, County Library, Charter Basic School. I think this is interesting because the property is being taxed by the county for the basic school levy. The property is being taxed by the state for a basic school levy, and by the state essentially for a charter basic school levy. So there's a lot of educational tax components that are being levied. Okay, let me talk to you about another property that is in a different taxing district. Okay, this is a property that is actually in the town of Bryan Head. There's still the county basic school levy because it's in Iron County. There is a Bryan Head levy that is significant. So the town of Bryan Head has a levy on this Bryan Head property. Again, there's the state basic school levy, county general fund, Iron County A&C, County Public Health, County Library, Charter Basic School again, and then a multi-county A&C. So take a look at the entities that are able to levy a tax. You will also be able to see what the taxes were in 2023, what the proposed tax is for 2024 if there is no increase, and what the proposed taxes could be if the increase that these entities are asking for is approved. In this case, there's a truth in taxation, which that's probably a whole separate video. Let me know if you're curious about truth in taxation, but it has to do with any of these taxing entities going above a certain percentage that they are allowed to, so then they have to go through a truth in taxation process. The county has done it, the school district is in the middle of doing it right now. So kind of an interesting process and one to pay attention to because it does directly affect your property taxes. So take a look at all of those numbers and understand why you're being taxed the way that you are on your property. Now, the last thing I want you to look at is down in the bottom right-hand corner, it's going to say last property review. On this property, it says last property review was done in 2021. For this property, it says the last property review was done in 2020. What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, the county is basically divided into 5 slices for the purposes of the market value review. So remember how we talked about this market value review earlier? The county reviews the assessments or the market value of 20% of the county every single year. That will tell you when your property was last assessed, where somebody from the county assessor's office will physically come to your property. They're going to try to determine if there have been improvements. Maybe it was new construction and now it's improved, what the property looks like, does it match the neighborhood, and so forth. So 20% of the county every single year is being assessed by the county assessor's office. Whatever that date is, you can expect that, you can count forward and 5 years hence, your property will then be on that 20% slice of the county that gets assessed every single year. Now, these notices go out in August. If you see an issue that needs to be corrected, specifically the value, the market value that you're being assessed at, if that value is too high, you have until mid-September to review that and determine whether or not you agree with it and actually file paperwork with the county to protest that value. So if you see an issue on this notice, most of the time it's going to be the market value that's the biggest issue, right? Make sure that you talk to someone at the county and you get those forms and you file that protest so that you have the opportunity to provide those market-based comps and make sure that your property taxes are in line. Let me know if you have questions. I want to make sure that everyone is really educated on how they're being assessed, how they're being taxed, what the taxing entities are, because there's a lot that goes into this and it's funding a lot of our local entities here. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you soon.